What's up, baby? What you got going on this evening? You wanna hang with a player, you know what I'm saying? Hey y'all, this is Susie. Please excuse the head attire. I rolled my hair up and I got sick of sitting up under the hair dryer, so I decided to just go ahead and just go to sleep in them as much as I can. I'm probably gonna take them out in the middle of the night, I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to come to you guys tonight to talk about an experience I had over the last couple of days. Met this guy on this dating site called Zooks, whatever. And I'm just gonna put it like this. Y'all know that I don't go nowhere. I go to work and I come home and, you know, I might go out to eat, or if I'm going somewhere, you know, extra, I'm taking Dada with me, or my little sister or something like that. So I figure to get some grown-up conversations besides at work, I need to get on the internet or whatever and at least strike up some conversations, if nothing else. So talked to this guy, and I don't know if you guys remember. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, he, you know, was asking me what kind of guy I liked and this and this and this, and how come I was single and all of this. And I was like, well, I'm single by choice because, you know, sometimes I pick the wrong type of guys. And, you know, I'm just kind of laying low since I'm a single parent now. You know, when I was younger, I kind of dated whoever. But now that I'm older, now that I'm a mother, I'm trying to date more responsibly. I'm dating to find a life partner, not just dating because I'm bored. He, you know, he was asking me where I work, and I really don't like to tell a lot of people where I work at, especially guys that I'm trying to get to know, because it's like they just think all kind of questions they need to ask me about their taxes or their friends' taxes or something. It's always something. But he told me he did some time in jail, and I told y'all, Shapika told y'all, this seems like when most of the guys that I attract are ex-convicts, and it's getting on my nerves. I'm like, dang, is that in my profile somewhere? Did I put that on there? Did I like ex-convicts? You know, and it's just aggravating me. And like I always say, everybody deserves a second chance, you know what I'm saying? But why do I keep having to be the one to do that? You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of it, because guys, they got records. It's guys, black men, period. And I hate to say that, but black men, period, always whining, talking about they can't get no job because the white man, whoever holding them back, you know what I'm saying? They said that before we even knew who Bush, Jr. or Obama or whoever was, you know what I'm saying? I knew guys that said that, you know, for the reason why they don't have a job. So it gets on my nerves, even more so now when I heard guys say that. So I'm tired of meeting guys that don't have no job, and you have the record. Of course, you know, it's gonna be hard to get a job, but I know plenty of ex-felons that have jobs, that have good jobs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how they got it. I didn't ask no questions. I just know they got it. You know, and they got their own house, and they got their own cars, and they taking care of their families. You know, and not talking about somebody holding them back. You know what I'm saying? This guy, I can't remember if he said 2 or 10, however many, it don't matter. It was too long. He said he been out of jail 18 months. That's long enough to get a job at McDonald's, Burger King, Crystals, whoever. You know what I'm saying? That's long enough to get a job somewhere. You know. There's a problem with that. He got like 5 kids, all grown. But damn, that means you just popping babies with everybody in the neighborhood look like, you know what I'm saying? So I told him, you know, he kept asking me for pictures, I got 3 pictures on the site. And he wanted another one, so I sent him another one. He wanted another one. I said, well, are you on Facebook? You just go on Facebook, and there's plenty of pictures of me on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I said, okay, check this out. Go to my YouTube page. You can watch me in action. And he just so happened to run across him. And from where he described what he was watching, I'm thinking it was one of Shafika videos. And some other rant that I had. Talking about the type of gas that I attract, which, like I said, are the ex-convicts. Or some kind of current convicts. Anyway. And at first it was okay. But then, like, the next day, I guess I wasn't texting him enough or something. And he got real bent out of shape about it. He was like, well, I already watched your videos, and I already know you ain't gonna let me get close to you, and let me have you, let me be with you, let me be happy, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, wow. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. We ain't talking no more since. Which is fine. I didn't tell him specifically what video to watch. He just happened to own it. That's divine intervention, thank the Lord Jesus. Because I didn't want to be bothered. Anyway, I'm just too nice to say it sometimes. So I'm thinking from now on, I'm going to send everybody to my YouTube channel. You know. He may or may not watch this video, I don't know, and I kind of don't care. Because, like I say, I'm not dating just to be dating. I'm trying to date to find my life partner. I'm going to be here for, you know, at my dad's house for the next, say, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe less than that. To help him pay the house note down. You know, maybe he can refinance a little later date. I don't know. But I'm trying to help him get straight. You know what I'm saying? And once he gets straight and can pay, you know, manageable amounts or whatever, then maybe me and Donna can roll. You know what I'm saying? But, so this giving me time to find somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not just messing with anybody. I can't do that. I did that all through my 20s. I did that. I had done it. When I was 31, it was the end of the games. It was the end of the games. I ain't got time. I ain't got time to be dating nobody that already got strikes against them as far as their record and where they live, how they live. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no telling whatever else issues, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna be perfect, but it can't be too much to ask to get a guy who has never been to jail. You know what I'm saying? To have a guy who has been on his job at least 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying? Some stable. You know, a guy that don't have a whole bunch of kids. You know what I'm saying? 2, 3, cool. But 5, 6, 7, what? I can't do that. I can't do that. I ain't got number 1. Somebody told me some years ago, never date a guy who has more kids than you. I know that's not always realistic. You know what I'm saying? Because really, in reality, I would rather date somebody who has a few kids, so they won't be expecting me to have them. You know what I'm saying? Someone do, they think they're gonna have a baby by every woman you get with. I ain't with it. I may change my mind somewhere down the line, but right now I'm not in the market to having no more children. You know. So, I just don't have time for no games. I'm 36 years old. I have no time for games. I'm trying to get myself together. I'm trying to help my dad. Trying to raise my son. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for no games. I can't get with nobody that got issues, major issues. The minor stuff I can deal with, but I can't deal with nobody got no major issues. Like I say, this jail stuff, alcoholism, drug abuse, a whole bunch of children, meaning a whole bunch of child support. I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Have your stuff together before you come to me. Don't come to me talking about, I can help you and you can help me. How you gonna help me? You can't help yourself. I ain't got time for it. You get on my nerves. You get mad now. So, I'm sorry I had to come to y'all with this thing on my head and I'm acting like a pimp. All this stuff around. But I just had to get this off my chest because it just irks me. It just irks me. But like I said, from now on, I don't care if I meet a guy at Kroger's. I'm like, look, I do YouTube videos, you know. I want you to check out a couple of my videos and say, let me know what you think of them. You know what I'm saying? I might have to specifically give people what videos I want them to look at. I don't know. Whatever. But like I said, this time was divine intervention. He found the one he needed to see. So, whatever. But that's all I got to talk about right now. Thanks you guys for listening to me rant and fuss and all that. Have a good evening. Have a good rest of your weekend. Peace.